Yeah, it is a difficult one. Um, the topic of male suicide is a big topic, and I think that we're gonna move on a little bit from this because obviously the Me Too era and snowflakey accusations of sexual assault. It's a touchy subject, but it's a big uh, topic. I think what I kind of want to talk about more is the different kinds of masculinity and how they are affected differently by depression and suicide, and how they feel differently inadequate. Right, so there are obviously different kinds of guys. You know, there's your sensitive guys. There's your more kind of, for want of a better word, alpha guys. You know, your kind of strong guys, your stoic guys. Your and there's everything in between. You know, we're talking about a demographic of 4 billion people, and there is not. I can't stand the terms alpha and beta. I hate that as vernacular, but it seems to be the only vernacular that's about. But basically, you have sort of your ordinary decent guys that sort of aren't necessarily sort of manly and all that sort of stuff, and you have sort of the sort of stereotypical, for want of a better word, alpha men who are also being affected by depression and suicide. So I think by way of structure, we'll talk about just ordinary decent men first of all, and how they are kind of feeling a little as if their identity is under pressure in this contemporary era. And then we'll move on to talk about more alpha men. Is that a good way to structure this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So so we're kind of talking about sort of sensitive men and kind of alpha men. So a lot of men, I heard, and I'm not sure if this is 100% true, but I heard that testosterone rates in men today are the lowest they've ever been in history. So what that means is that a lot of men are kind of more sensitive, they feel less masculine than they have kind of ever felt in history. And a lot of men are kind of feeling the pressure of kind of back in the 1990s and 1980s, back when you and I were kids, a lot of women would have said, oh, we want men that are more sensitive, we want men that are more emotional, we want men that will open up more. Now, men with reduced testosterone and stuff are a bit more emotional than they had been in the past, and they kind of don't. Do you know where I'm kind of getting at here? Yeah. So, with the kind of crisis in the masculine identity, more men are kind of feeling more depressed. And do you have any thoughts on that?
I would agree. I mean, women did spend a long time thinking, I want somebody nice, I want somebody more sensitive, I want somebody to do this. And I think men are a lot more sensitive now. I don't know whether that's because women wanted that and browbeated them into it, or whether it's just how society has changed with how everybody's life has changed. I think a lot has changed in the whole world. But I definitely think men are more sensitive now. I would agree. You know, it wouldn't surprise me that men have, testosterone levels are less in men now than they've ever been before. I mean, I look at my husband, and he'll probably give off for me even saying this, but on one hand, my husband is the most vulgar man I've ever met in my life, but on the other hand, he's also the most flippin' sensitive man I've met in my life. And those two meet in the middle, and I think we have a really good mix of that. But I think it's a very different world now. Years ago, that wouldn't have been the case. I mean, my husband works in a very male orientated place.
What does he do? Sorry?
He's a lorry driver, So you can imagine the banter in his workplace. And even whenever we first met, everybody around me was all guys, and you see how they are. But I also seen a lot of those guys much more sensitive than I would have expected them to be as well. And I think something has shifted over the years, definitely, with testosterone.
I think that we should spend a moment talking about why testosterone is good for men, because a lot of people misunderstand testosterone, and a lot of people um, think that testosterone makes you angry. I don't know if you saw my video during the week about ashwagandha.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, one of the benefits of ashwagandha is that ashwagandha can increase testosterone in men, and what that does is that can testosterone for men is very good. Testosterone for women is fine, except too much of it will make you less feminine. Testosterone for men can contribute to a sense of calm, that more composed. It can increase your critical reasoning. It can improve your mood. It can. There are many health benefits to. Basically, a low testosterone will make you more sensitive and emotional, which is a dual-edged sword. But low testosterone will also reduce. Will kind of make you more open, essentially. Where I'm getting this, by the way, is the Art of Manliness podcast, which I'm sure we're going to talk about a little bit later on. The way in which they know this is by seeing men that had prostate cancer and seeing the difference in personality before and after they had prostate cancer. After they had prostate cancer, their testosterone rates went way down. And a lot of people said that they were a lot more friendly, a lot nicer, but that they were more sensitive. So the testosterone rates are going down is a dual-edged sword, basically, for men in this contemporary era. Testosterone will make you look and feel more masculine. Women are probably more attracted to higher testosterone men. I think, if you've ever had sort of a male friend that kind of was like friend zoned, essentially, he was probably just sort of didn't have the kind of testosterone that you kind of wanted from and that's kind of, and I think that a lot of women have that in their past, that guy who's really nice, but there's kind of just doesn't have that edge of a boyfriend that you're kind of looking for. So this is what we're kind of talking about now by way of, is the reduction of testosterone in our contemporary era a bad thing? And the answer is maybe. Yes. So then we'll so sensitive men and kind of not living up to kind of feeling the pressure of contemporary society and feeling like they're not living up to it, kind of basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. There's definitely an element of, and looking back to my teenage years, you always have that guy who might have been good looking, but he was too nice. There's nice and then there's too nice. You want that middle of the road. You don't want the bad boy. Well, I mean, some of us did, but you want the middle of the road. There was always that one that you did friend zone because they were just too nice. But I definitely think that you do need that element of, you want a strong man. Sorry, let me rephrase that. I want a strong man. I want somebody who ultimately is going to look after me. I'm going to look after him in the way that he needs. And I don't just mean sexually, because I can imagine people are going, it's going there in people's heads. But, we look after each other in the way that is needed. But there is something about having somebody that is going to look after you. I know that there's times where I talk about things and Thomas will go, but I'll keep you safe, I'll look after you. And that is huge comfort. Even just sometimes whenever he's holding my hand, I just feel that real safety. And it's because he is a manly man, and I mean, I can't talk for everyone, but I know that there is an element of that women do like.
There's a couple of things there that I wanted to circle back to. Today in our contemporary era, it's not so much that sensitive men are sensitive men. It's that sensitive men firstly don't want to be more manly men. There's like a kind of a culture that tells them that being a manly man is being a toxic man, which I couldn't disagree with more. Um, and I want to kind of circle back to your thoughts on that. The other thing that I want to kind of talk about is the importance of men hanging around with other men. But we'll talk about that after. Do you think that men today aspire enough to be men?
I don't know. I think it's a difficult one. I mean, I'm not in a massive male environment to see how different men are, but I definitely think there is a shift in what men do aspire to be.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I
How do you feel out of anybody you know? How do you feel in yourself? Do you feel different about that?
A lot of my men, or my friends, are sufficiently masculine. But I know that a lot of people, especially people who are sort of more left leaning, if you know what I mean, like more progressive people, do not aspire, like basically hipsters. You know, they don't aspire to the kind of aspire sufficiently to the kind of alpha male model. They almost kind of fall short of it just that little bit. They kind of are a little bit too pretty, like they're right on the boundary of masculinity, a lot of them. And a lot of these people that I know that are hipsters from, I don't, you know who I'm talking about here, you know the kind of men that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't think hipsters is quite right, but people who tend, generally speaking, to be kind of progressive politics, tend, generally speaking, to be, they don't aspire to the more alpha, and I hate that word too, that masculine model. It's kind of become faux pas to say things like man up, or, you know, to they think that masculinity is just about turning up, and I think masculinity is about more than that. I mean, I'm not the most alpha of men, I'm not going to pretend that I am, but I do aspire to be a more alpha man than I am, and I do work out, I am aware of the benefits of masculinity, which might be worth talking about a little.
Do you think that the difference in this, obviously our whole thing is about men's mental health, do you think that aspiring to be a manly man kind of coincides with that, or are we getting off topic and talking about something totally different?
It's a bit of both actually, a little bit of both. At the minute we're talking about sensitive men and kind of why they're kind of feeling a little bit depressed, and I think that some of them, not all of them by any stretch of the imagination, don't know why they're feeling a little bit depressed, and it's because they're living in a culture that kind of tries to bootstrap or tries to tie down what it is they are, and a lot of men don't realise that we are a community